So here's the bender box, and basically if I flip it around you'll see that there's actually a little leg, a standoff leg, that this little notch cuts right into. So there this is. And let's do a test fit just to ensure that everything is going to be okay when we actually try to assemble all this. And again, I'm using the stand-in board. Okay, bringing this up. That. And the stand-in board is missing one of its pots, but that's not the point. The point here is to verify the slider slots before we glue them down. And if you can see this or not, let me see if you can get a better view. Trying to line these up so that they go through the slots. Oh, there they go. Okay. So, there we have it. So that's what that's what it's going to look like. Now look, over here we have a bare switch, and we're going to resolve that one too, because I also have a paper pattern. Yes, I took the time to create a paper pattern for the switch cover. See, there it is right there. And what I'm going to use to make that switch cover, this is basically rubber bullnose. See, this is basically bullnose. This is basically rubber carpeting. I'm sure you could probably find some rubber sheeting that would do the trick, but I had this lying around, and the very fine feathered edge looked perfect material for this kind of stuff. And as you can see, I've already made a couple of them already. So let's make a new one right here. Okay, so is this okay? I'm going to need to extend this strip. So bear with me. I'm just going to do this while the camera rolls. Move a few things out of the way because it's messy around here. That's a controlled chaos, you know. It's just chaotic enough that I can get things done. It's just organized enough that I can get things done. It's just chaotic enough that I don't spend all my time trying to clean up. That's basically my philosophy on that one. Okay, so let's ensure that we're actually cutting the right width of this stuff. Okay, that. Well, you know, larger is better than smaller. Okay, a little bit wider, just a little bit wider. Okay, press that down, and using the rotary blade, like so. Okay. See, that rotary cutter is great. Okay, all right. I can see that it's taken just a little sliver though off of this guy, which is a shame. It just means that I'm going to, in the interests of a non-slivered part, cut this over here like so, and then looks like I've got enough for two of them, which is great because, you know, I could actually use two of them. I could use more than two of them actually. I have a number of these guys to recondition. Alright, so now I've got enough plastic to make two of the covers. I'm just going to oh yeah, right, I have one that I already removed from the pattern. So we'll use that guy. Let's see here, is that actually... Yep, good, okay. So, position it like this. Whoops, sorry. Okay. Let me me see if I can get in a little bit closer here so you can see what's going on. Okay. Sure hope there's enough for two. Oh yeah, there's enough for two. That's great. Okay. Alright, now how am I going to get this guy? Well, the answer is I'm going to use a very fine X-Acto knife to trace the little square out. So I don't have one handy. I'm going to go get one from my other workbench. I'll be right back. Okay. So let me see if I can zoom in even better. Yeah, this is what happens when we try and zoom in too close. Alright. Let's see if I can capture all this fabulousness for you all. I fear I may not. Nope, look at that, you see? Every time I try and do something for the camera, as soon as I need to see what I'm doing, the camera doesn't get to see it and vice versa. Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back. So here is the finished part. And yeah, it takes a while to get it right with the X-Acto. You got to be really, really careful. Okay, so basically, the way that's going to work out is it just goes down over this piece here, like so. And now this guy basically has a a little plastic shield that rides along with it. And that's underneath the bender box, and so that's how that works. Now, if you wanted to, you could also use neoprene for this, and there's nothing wrong with using a piece of neoprene either. But I prefer to have an actual piece of plastic, just like the plastic that the switch is made out of. Anyway, that's that. So let's move on to gluing. How are we going to do the gluing? Well, the gluing is pretty straightforward. I'm going to save the gluing of this part in the bender box until later, mainly because I want the bender box ready for reassembly when we do this, because then if I need to, I can move this around a little bit. If it's already glued and hardened, then that's not going to work. But over here, let's move these off to the side. Let's get back to looking at the bender board, or I'm sorry, the main panel board here, with all of its parts. Okay, no. Alright, this is about as far out as I can get right now. I'm just going to use, basically this is a silicone-based aquarium type adhesive, and I find that this stuff works the best for this kind of work. So, basically, we just take a look at these guys and we apply just a little bit of it to the bottom of each of the faders. Just try and copy the original pattern, and of course obviously you definitely do not want to be getting any of this inside the fader. That would be a very bad thing. Okay. Well, this stuff has that aquarium stink, you know, that ammonia smell. That's what it is. It's an ammonia smell to it. And I'm just using this X-Acto because I happen to have it lying around handy to ensure that the adhesive is in the right locations. Did I say this was painstaking work? Oh, I wasn't kidding. It is. It's painstaking work. Each one is its own, you know, craftsman project. Alright, so now that these have been applied, I'm going to pull the faders down and put the neoprene back on. And be careful, because you don't want to be pulling any of this adhesive into the fader proper. Okay. Slide her up. Slide her up. It's one way of ensuring everything is aligned correctly, is to alternate the sliders like that. Okay, and I'm pressing down now a little bit more forcefully just to ensure we've got a good mating between the neoprene and the material. But as you can see, this adhesive works really, really well. See how that's like laying flat now? And it's just going to stay like that because it's a high viscosity adhesive. It's going to stay like that, and it'll harden overnight into kind of like a, you know, rubbery silicone. So that's basically it, and I'm just going to proceed to repeat the process for all these, and we'll go from here. All right, that's it. We have got all the neoprene now positioned, and the glue is just going to set overnight, so we can just leave this guy over here for now. And as I say, I'm not going to glue the bender box just now, because I want to be able to do that when I actually have Dave's PCB reconditioned. And when I say reconditioned the PCB, really what I'm talking about is we'll deoxit these guys, these switches and these pots obviously, but we need to take these faders off and recondition them, and obviously we've got to replace this guy. And the actual can looks pretty good, so maybe what I'll do is just replace it with a a slider arm and sweeper finger assembly, instead of actually throwing the whole thing out, because it's actually in really great shape. So rather than putting in a slightly more corroded looking can we'll actually put in. We'll keep this can and we'll give it a new arm. So we'll do that now. Let's go. And back over here on the much more manly electronics bench. Here's Dave's unit with its missing slider. And then here is my backup unit that, again, I bought a lot of these. When I say a lot, I mean they were as a group. Lot of this many parts sort of thing. And there are 3 on this guy that are in decent shape. And then here, this is kind of dirty, and they're looking a little bit corrody, but these 3 are also in decent shape. And this one actually has, oh, yeah, I wouldn't trust this. This is definitely broken. But, okay, the pot was. And then over here, there are 2 decent looking ones, although they're dirty, on this one. And then here are 3 that are literally encrusted in, I wouldn't even go so far as to call this gross. This is almost corrosion. And they look kind of almost rusty inside. I don't know what happened with this. Someone spilled a beer into it or something like that, and then it was left for a couple of years. I'm going to take all these sliders off. Now, before I go any further, Dave's are going to get isolated treatment because they're beautiful. And even this one here with the broken fader, I am not going to allow them to get confused with these guys over here. But I am actually going to use my vacuum desoldering tool, which I am now engaged, and I'm going to basically be desoldering all of them. And let's actually fit this guy in the pan of ice. Oop, you can't see that, can you? Let me just reposition things over here. Once again, mess. You call it mess, I call it chaotic organization. Okay. There we go. Alright, so we can zoom in a little bit and move up. Here it is. Okay, so don't mind me while I get this sorted out. This is how we work around here. And I really doubt that this is warmed up enough to actually do the job in the meantime, but I don't know, I always like to see if I can. So we basically have the 2. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's hot enough to create. There we go. See how awesome these things are? They're awesome. This is the one with the broken slider. And there we go. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to get the other 2 out now. Easy, that one. All right, you guys don't need to see me pulling more of these sliders, because after all, the other boards that are here in the collection don't belong to Dave. They're not part of Dave's synth, so when I go and yank all of these, there's no need for me to be documenting that. Next up, we're going to be reconditioning these guys, and out of all of the other, I'm basically going to run through and recondition all the other ones too, although not on camera. And then we'll find a candidate slider from one of the other cans, and we'll put that in. Anyway, I'll be right back.